Over the past week or so, the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's has been facing a ton of hate online by woke Twitter after it came to light that he is a Republican. He backed Donald Trump, he has funded quite a few Republican politicians, and games media has gone hard against him, simply because they don't like his political opinions or who he supports. They have tried to paint him as someone who is anti-LGBTQ, they've tried to say that he doesn't really care about the people who have played his games over the years, and it's disgusting to see this happen because not everyone has the same political beliefs, and woke game journalists are willing to smear people with political opinions different than theirs, even if the person they're smearing has done nothing wrong. And unfortunately, this situation has had a pretty terrible turn after a week of the media and people trying to cancel this man, doxing him and his family. He's decided to leave the Five Nights at Freddy's team and retire. So I want to start off with an article that talks about the initial situation, and then we're going to get into his response and his announcement of his retirement. So Five Nights at Freddy's creator Scott Cawthon has said that he won't apologize for funding U.S. Republican candidates, including Donald Trump, but acknowledged that with so many people from the LGBT community in the fan base that I love, it was not an option to ignore fan backlash about his political beliefs. I do not think anyone should be forced to apologize for their political or religious beliefs. You are allowed to believe in what you believe in. If you want to support someone like Donald Trump, you go for it. If you want to support a Republican candidate, you go for it. While many of the candidates he backed are conservative and sit within America's right-leaning party, he insists that for those who took the time to look, they'd see that the candidates he supported included men, women, white people, black people, Republicans, and Democrats. Again, he shouldn't have to explain who he supports, but it's true. There were women on that list, men on that list, white people, black people, Republicans, and a couple of Democrats. So I quickly wanted to read through his Reddit post where he says my response, and maybe last post, it currently has 18,000 upvotes, and it says to say the last few days have been surreal would be an understatement. I've debated greatly how to best address this, including not addressing it at all, but with so many people from the LGBT community in the fan base that I love, that's just not an option. This post definitely added a fuel to the fire. A lot of people are now using this post against him. It says, I'd like to think that the last 7 years would have given me the benefit of the doubt in regards to how I try to treat people, but there I was, trending on Twitter for being a homophobe, getting doxxed, with people threatening to come to my house. This is an absolutely disgusting situation. No one should be called these things and accused of these things without getting a chance to at least defend themselves. It says, my wife is 6 weeks pregnant and she spent the last night in fear because of what was being said online. She has been struggling already with her pregnancy, so seeing her afraid is really scary. All of this is because I exercised my right and my duty as an American citizen to vote for and support the candidates who I felt could best run the country for everyone. That's something that I won't apologize for. He should not be forced to apologize. As soon as he said this, where he said, I am not going to apologize for my political or religious beliefs, bam, journalists went hard against him. They were really hoping that he would back down and apologize, and as soon as he said that he wouldn't, they basically said they weren't going to stop until he was successfully canceled, which is awful. He is going through so much right now simply for supporting different candidates than journalists do and some of the people who support his game. It says, for those who took the time to look, you saw that the candidates I supported included men, women, white people, black people. He lists off a couple of names like Tulsi Gabbard, a Democrat, even though I disagreed with her on several issues because I felt she would be a good and fair president. And yes, I supported President Trump because I felt that he was the best man to fuel a strong economy and stand up to America's enemies abroad, of which there are many. So it says, even if there was candidates who had better things to say to the LGBT community directly and bigger promises to make, I believe that their stances on other issues would have ended up doing much greater harm to those communities than good. All of this explanation, I fear, is wasted as people don't want to discuss with one another anymore. They want endless apologies and submission, and unfortunately, this is so incredibly true. No matter how much you say you're sorry or try to explain your stance, it doesn't matter to these these people. They're going to be mad at you. They're never going to forget about the situation, and they're always going to throw it in your face. It says, I've always been supportive of creators and have tried to treat everyone fairly and treat everyone with dignity and respect. I've never cared about anyone's race, religion, gender, or orientation. I just treat people as people, everyone the same, and because of that, I've ended up with a very diverse group of people that I've worked with over the years, and this is true. It says it wasn't intentional, it just happened that way. I chose people who are best for the job. I treat everyone the same, and I ended up with people from all walks of life in my professional life and my personal life as well. That's the way that it should be, that's the way I want it to be, and that's the way I will continue to be. So it finishes off with, I'm a Republican, I'm a Christian, I'm pro-life, I believe in God, and I also believe in equality and in science and in common sense. Despite what some people may say, all of those things can go together. This is why people are afraid to put their political or religious beliefs online, because people that don't agree with them will always appear to attack them and try to cancel them, and that is exactly what happened here. He tried to explain his stance, explain his opinions, yet people are endlessly attacking him. You'd think adults online would go, hey, I really disagree with your opinion, but I respect you enough as a human being to let you have an opinion, but nope, instead we've got people like journalists trying to ruin people's careers, and unfortunately, it does seem like he's given in to the pressure, because he released this statement on his website where it says, before I say anything else, check out this awesome piece of fan art. Pretty amazing stuff, right? I have boxes and boxes of artwork like this from fans that I've saved over the years. I've tried to answer as many letters as I could, and I apologize to anyone that I missed somehow. Someday, when I have a bigger living room, maybe I'll have a giant collage of all the fan art I've collected. Stuff like this has made it all worthwhile to me over the last 7 years. I've had a blessed, fulfilling, and rich career. I've been shown great kindness, and I've tried to show great kindness in return. Again, if you go online, there are no reports of him ever being mean to people, of him ever, being racist, toxic, bigoted, none of that. He does seem like a genuinely good person, at least from everything that you find online about him. There's no reports of him being an awful, terrible person like everyone wants to paint him as. But it continues on with saying, I've tried to make some good games, and I've witnessed the creation of possibly the most creative and talented fan base on the planet. He does genuinely love the people who have supported his game over the past couple of years. I personally never got massively into Five Nights at Freddy's. I've played it though, I enjoyed it, and so many people love it, and he does actually care about the people who've played it, at least from, what we've all seen online. It says, but here on the 7th anniversary of the first game's trailer, as I realized that I was in my mid-30s when I created the series and now I'm approaching my mid-40s, I realized that I miss a lot of the things that I got to focus on before Five Nights at Freddy's became such a success. I miss making games for my kids, I miss doing it just for fun, and I miss making RPGs even though I stink at it. All of this is to say that I am retiring. I've been shown tremendous love and support over the last week, a lot of which has come from the LGBTQ community, and the kindness shown to me has been surreal. So he does directly acknowledge the fact that there have been people attacking him, that he has, had a lot of stress over the past week, but he's also seen a lot of love and kindness. So it finishes off with saying, I have 6 kids now and I love them dearly. They are my whole world. I want to focus my attention on them, focus on protecting them, and spend my time making things for them. I only ask that my fan base respect my decision. I will still be around, just not in the capacity that I used to be. See you on the flip side. Unfortunately, a lot of people right now believe that this statement is because of the cancellation attempt over the past week. A lot of people do not believe that he made this decision just because of his kids. He made it only a week after people were trying to cancel him, so either maybe the other people at the company didn't want him to be affiliated with the project anymore and said, it's best if you left. A lot of people think that, or maybe he genuinely didn't care and figured that it was a good time to abandon ship. He didn't want to sabotage the project by staying in it. Maybe he does really want to focus on his kids, because I would like to believe him here, but it's just very convenient timing for him to announce a retirement, when he literally said a week ago, I'll leave if I have to. I will retire from this industry if I've got to, because I'm not going to be forced to apologize for my opinions. People should not feel like they've got to retire because others in the industry don't like them, and unfortunately that's what's happened here. A lot of people are very upset right now. Hashtag thank you Scott was trending on social media. A lot of people are saying it's really sad to see him go. We do not want to see him go. But of course, the comments on this whole situation on like Twitter have been very mixed. There are a lot of people that are supporting him. There are a lot of people who are not supporting him. So I hope that whatever he does in the future goes well for him, whether, you know, maybe he does come back to the industry and he decides to make another game in a couple of years. Maybe he will just live out the rest of his life without being on social media, without being on Twitter and dealing with outrage from people who can't respect others' decisions. But that's all that I really had to talk about in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.